welcome to this video. This video book-wise today is the June-July wrap-up. So what I read in both June and July. So if you recall, I did my June-July TBR and I combined the 2 months. This was because I was going away end of June into mid-July. So we have a wrap up for 2 months together. So make sure you get comfy, grab a drink or a snack, and join me in my reviews for all of the stuff that I read in June and July. There will be a few books that were electronic, so I'll put like a picture up on the screen somewhere when I'm talking about those ones. Apart from that, we have a pile here as well. So, and I've just got my reading journal in front of me as well, just so I know how I reviewed it, style wise and everything. So if you see me look down, that's what I am looking at. Is there anything else I need to let you guys know? No. So let's get started. So June, we're going to start with June, obviously. And the first book that I read was Sue Grafton, A is for Alibi, which is a mystery read. This book, I read this to meet a challenge for my local book club. I have a challenge in my reading journal, which has things like read a book from the year that you were born, read a book with your name as the same author, read a new release, read a horror book, stuff like that on there. And yeah, it's in my journal actually. So when I do my journal flip through and cover what I've already filled in and everything, I will show you all that then. Yeah, so I will do that soon too. I just need one more section filled in, which is my TBR section, because I'm redoing that. So yeah, it'll be very, very soon that I do that for you. Anyway, back to the book. This was a book published in the year that I was born, which was 1982. I did want to read another one, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But with help from one of my local secondhand bookshops, they mentioned this book, and I'm glad they did, because I love my mystery reads, and I really yeah, was keen to get into this one. So I was born in 1982, just so you guys know, and it was hard finding a book written in that year. Didn't think I was that old. It also is under letter A, for A is for Alibi, and I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't quite up there, to be honest, but it was an alright read. What else did I say? It was well written and it was an alright read. It's, if I come across the others in the series, I will read them. I already have 2 on my shelf actually. Letter B and what's the other one? Just turning around, sorry. And G, because I got these at the same time as this one. It was alright, like it was well written, it just wasn't, it just didn't gel with me very much, the story of this one. But it was alright, and I'll, yeah, read the other 2 that I have as well sometime. So that was my first read. And then I jumped onto a NetGalley book. If you don't know, NetGalley is a service where you request to read books before they're actually published out into the world, which is super cool. I read a book called Love Quest, and I was super keen to read this one. It just sounded like a me type book, and it was. I gave it 5 stars. If you could give it any more stars, I would have given it more than 5 because I absolutely loved it. It goes under the challenge A to Z for the letter L, which is another challenge that I'm doing. I'm doing quite a few. And I put here, wow, 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 this is amazing. I loved every word, the adventure element. It was engaging, enjoyable, and I loved all the characters in it. And I just said, what an ending. I wish the guy would do that for me, and I'm not going to give it away, obviously. I was curious if they would mention Indiana Jones because it had that obvious vibe to it, and they did. And it was my first read from this author, Camilla. And I just loved her writing style, really heaps. Yeah, so a huge thanks to NetGalley, the publisher and author, for letting me read Love Quest. It was really amazing. And I would definitely recommend that one. Okay, so our next read, we had a bit of up and down in everywhere in June and July. Some okay ones, some not so great ones, some awesome ones like the one I just mentioned. So it was a bit here, there, everywhere. The next book that we read was Lessons in Chemistry. This was a group read with an online book club that I'm with called Plan a Friends Book Club. This was chosen by one of the members. I gave this one 3 stars. And to be honest, that was a generous 3 stars. It was okay. There was a lot of touchy topics in the book. So just be aware of your triggers of this book before you jump in and read it. It was very slow moving as well. And I didn't really get into the story until the main character's child came into the picture, and that made it more interesting for me as a reader. I probably wouldn't recommend it, to be honest, and it came under the letter L for my A to Z challenge. Yeah, so that's that one. We have those moments in reading. The other book from the same club for the month of June was Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was my third read from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. I totally loved it. I also listened to the Audible as well, and that was a 5-star Audible, definitely. I recommend it, and I just flew through it in a few days. That's when you know a book is really good. It came under my A to Z challenge for the letter C, and yeah, I recommend this one. I recommend the Audible to that as well. Yeah, it just adds to the vibe sometimes. Next we have 2 electronic reads. They were both from NetGalley. Again, so thank you to NetGalley for these reads. The first one was called The Love Proposal. This was from the same author as Love Quest, which I mentioned not long ago. I gave this one a 5-star as well. I enjoyed every moment. I enjoyed the references to the movies and TV shows that they mentioned, and also the songs. I like this author's writing, and I enjoyed the characters of this one as well. It's a good read and I recommend it. Yeah, definitely a good author to get into and get to know. So it was a great month in June discovering that author. And the next one was called Pixels and Paints. This one I took a while to get to. This one, but I eventually did. I gave this one 4 stars. I liked the characters, the storyline, and there was a bit of a faith element to it, so it wasn't like spicy or anything like that going on. I liked how the grandparents were added into the story as characters as well, to build up one particular character. It was challenging at first to get into. It took me, you know, a while to get into the story. About chapter 10, around there, it picked up a lot. So that's why I didn't give it 5 stars. Like, it wasn't that automatic, you know, keenness to read it. Took a bit to get rolling. I'm gonna cough, sorry. Excuse me. I've been talking too much because I've been filming a lot. My apologies. Yeah, so once I got going and it was faster with the storyline, it was a lot better. So it became a 4-star read. And it came under the letter P for my A to Z challenge. Which is a challenge that I'm accomplishing pretty well. The next one is Legends and Lattes. This goes into July. In July, I got the honour to select the 2 reads for Plan a Friends Book Club. And this was my first pick, Legends and Lattes. I was super keen to get into this, and I thought it would be something different for the group as well, genre-wise. I listened to the audio on Audible as well because it's actually narrated by the author Travis, and it was really good to listen to him do his story on Audible. I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, it was easy to get through and quick, and enjoyed the author's narration. It was a bit slow to me, and it was not what I was expecting. Like, the coffee shop element was really in there, but I thought the fantasy element would come through a little bit more, and it was a bit slow as well. It picked up more for me when the music side of the performers in the coffee shop started. Like, I was a bit more interested then. But I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars, and I will be keen to look into bookshops and Brain Dust when I come across it. It's a really good Audible as well, if you want to listen to that one. Sorry, I'm very coffee. The next one I read, I started it in June, but I finished it in July. I read half of it before I went away, and the other half when I got back home, because I didn't want to take any physical books with me. I just used Audible and electronic books. This was my first Sarah J. Maas read, and it's The Assassin's Blade. I loved every word of this. I love her writing. It's so good. And I loved The Assassin's Blade, which is the novella into the Throne of Glass series, which I'm super looking forward to getting into more. So you had like 5 short stories in there, and I just loved all of them. So I gave it 5 stars, obviously. I'm glad I gave it a go, because at the moment I'm sort of diving into all book genres, just discovering who I am as a reader. So I'm glad I picked up a Sarah J. Maas book and a fantasy book. I did previously try fantasy last year, I think it was. The Cruel Prince, but I wasn't really a fan of that one. Sorry if you are, but I wasn't. So I was kind of nervous getting into this. What else did I say? So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the next one, which is The Throne of Glass, and then obviously the rest of the series. It didn't meet a challenge, but it's met a challenge for myself, sort of with the fantasy genre and the author and stuff like that, and I really, really loved it. Can't wait to read the Assassin's Blade, The Throne of Glass, sorry, which is sitting here with my TBR for this month. Super excited. My other choice for Planner Friends Book Club was this book here, Charlie, Love and the Clichés by Ellen Mays. This was a new author to me, and this was the romance novel that I chose. I sort of wanted to choose something different and then a romance instead of two romances. So in July I read this one. It's a really cute cover, by the way. This was a 4-star to me, and as I said, it was the first read by the author. I enjoyed the story and liked the characters. I loved the dog Pepperoni. It was such a great addition to it. I will read more by this author because I do like her writing style, and it was a fun read. It came under my A to Z challenge for the letter C, and yeah, super cute cover. So yeah, that was a fun one. I then finished one of my Kindle books that I started on my holiday when I got back home after that one, which was called Around the World in 80 Days. This was my classic read for my local book club challenge. One of those prompts was to read a classic read. I had on my shelf for since last year probably, Pride and Prejudice, but I never went for it, and that was the book that I was intending to read for my classic, but I just couldn't do it. Like, I don't know what it was. So I was looking for something that was more to my theme liking, and something that I was sort of wanting to read at the time, like something more adventurous and more exciting. So I chose Around the World in 80 Days. I was familiar with this story from a few different movie adaptations of the book, so I was just curious to read it and know what the actual real story was before all those movies. So yeah, this was my classic read. I enjoyed the original story. It was well written, and if looking for a classic, I definitely recommend this one. And this, as I said, my classic genre challenge for my local book club challenge that we're doing. Yeah, and apparently a lot of classics are written by this author, so if I venture down that way in the future, definitely will read those first. And then our last book for June and July was a buddy read. This is a Christmas book. We read a Christmas book on the like 24th, 25th, 26th of July to have our sort of like Christmas in July thing. I think a lot of readers did that actually. So it's by Tessa Bailey and it's called Window Shopping. It's only a quick short read. Sadly this book wasn't for me, I struggled with it. It started alright with like the window shopping elements, and things like that. However, as it progressed, it kind of got more disappointing, and there was so much spice in this, and the story was just based on that spice. Like, I don't mind a bit of spice as long as the story is like the main element, not the spice as the main element like this book was. So yeah, it was disappointing, and I really disliked the guy because that was just his character. Yeah, I was looking for like a nice romance holiday vibe story, and there was like just no Christmas in there at all, which was another disappointing thing because it was like our Christmas in July thing. So yeah, I honestly just kept reading it because it was a buddy read, and obviously as a person, if I commit to something, I just want to follow it through. It's just who I am as a person. But otherwise, if I wasn't buddy reading it, I would have definitely DNF'd the book. Yeah, so don't disappoint your book. Disappoint yourself. There's a lot of Christmas books out there that would be better than this one. If you like it, that's fine. That's your opinion, and that's you. But yeah, it just wasn't for me, unfortunately, and it was 2 stars for me. So we ended on a negative note. But yeah, we're doing well this month in August, and I'll look forward to chatting to you all about what I achieved reading in my August wrap up. If you missed my August TBR, then jump back and have a watch because it was super fun to do, and there's a lot of awesome things going on in there. Yeah, and make sure you hit the bell and subscribe and all that for upcoming hauls and challenges that I am doing and have done. And of course, I'll once I finish my final section update in here, my TBR section, I'll go through all of my book journal with you as well. Because yeah, just the last one was like how I set it up and everything, and you haven't actually seen it in use, so I thought that would be a good idea for you guys. The most recent book challenge I did was a pink book challenge to do with the Barbie movie, of course, so if you missed that, check it out. There's also a new little library video just going on as well, so check that out if you haven't as well. Soon and upcoming there will be a 1-minute challenge. I did previously do like a 3-minute challenge, but I'm gonna put it down to 1 minute and see how we go. And then yeah, if you want me to do any other colour challenges or whatever, pop a comment below what colour that you would like me to do or whatever. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, that will be in the description, and my Instagram will be on there as well for all my photos and clips and whatever if you wish to follow me there. But thank you for joining me today, guys, in my June-July wrap-up. It was good to get it all done for you guys. It just took a bit of time because it was like 2 months combined. I just needed to find, you know, that huge block of time to film it. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all very, very soon in the next book videos. Bye!